In such a unique world, large ships did not sail on water but moved on sand, and within that sand lived terrifying and dangerous creatures. Anyone who stepped on the sand was destroyed by them. The science fiction story begins with us seeing another world, where a ship was sailing over a vast desert of sand. The ship moved in the same way as it would on water. On top of the ship were many warriors who were advancing fearlessly towards a tower nearby, targeting it and deciding to go there. Suddenly, from within the sand, we saw huge monster-like creatures emerging. As they appeared, they began attacking their ship. One of the warriors fell down unconscious, and now those creatures attacked the remaining warriors on the ship. After this, we see our real world where we were shown a scene of Area 51 of the USA. There were 2 military groups deployed there, but after a while, Group B received a message that Group A, which had gone for inspection in Area 51, had suddenly disappeared. Captain Natalie of Group B, along with her entire team, sets out to find Group A. They were advancing, looking at the marks of Group A's tires, but suddenly Natalie and her team noticed that at one place the tire marks abruptly ended, and there were no tanks or soldiers of Group A present there. It was noteworthy that small stones were placed at various places in Area 51, on which something was written in another language. Now, black smoke started coming out from one side, continuously advancing towards Natalie and her team. The whole storm was filled with lightning, so Natalie and her team started running away from the storm as quickly as possible. They were not too fast to escape the terrible storm. In no time, the storm had lifted their entire tank into the air. After this point, Natalie and her team could hardly control themselves amidst the storm, with lots of lightning crackling, and now, Natalie's team teleports into that other world. It's the same world we saw at the beginning of the story. After coming to their senses, Natalie's team finds all the belongings of Team A, but unfortunately, no one from Team A was alive. Looking at their bodies, it seemed like someone had burned them alive. But who could it possibly be? As all sides showed deserted desert, Natalie didn't wait to help. She started moving forward with her team and tank from the desert, but she didn't know there was a real danger in the desert. Now their team has come to a place where there was a skeleton of a very large animal. They seemed even larger than a dinosaur. Suddenly, from the side of a rock, we saw the warrior who survived the fall from the ship at the beginning of the story. Now the warrior, whose name was Lynn, was watching Natalie and the remaining soldiers come. Lynn knew only that there was a danger in the desert, so he fired at them with his bow and arrow to help them. As a result, Natalie and all quickly left the desert, but Natalie and the remaining soldiers thought Lynn was attacking them, so they all fired on Lynn with their advanced guns. But what was to happen will happen as they watched the land. A dangerous creature emerged from inside, which had been following Natalie and her teammates' tank. They all continued to run away from that creature as soon as possible. But maybe their speed was not too much in the desert. That terrible creature completely destroys a tank in it. Many soldiers and friends of Natalie were also present. Now Natalie was firing continuously with the help of her machine gun on that creature. But that creature was easily moving inside the sand to save itself. Now Natalie and all the colleagues came out of the tank and started going on the path of the rocks. But the terrible creature had caught many soldiers in its poisonous seam. Just as it attacked the rest of the soldiers, Lynn helps fire an arrow on that creature. Seeing the opportunity, Natalie and all her colleagues quickly enter a cave in the rocky area. The monster was unable to enter the cave. That's why it returns to the desert. Natalie and her soldiers thought they were all saved, but it was their misunderstanding because now they saw big ones in the cave. Dangerous scorpions. These dangerous scorpions were not less than any monster. To catch many soldiers in their paws, Nellie faints due to injury. Only scorpion-type creatures were present inside the cave, not even big and dangerous spiders. Almost all of Natalie's companions had been killed. After a while, when Natalie opened her eyes, she found herself in a spider's nest. Despite all odds, Natalie managed to free herself and started moving forward. It was then that she found one of her soldier friends, but he had been infected by those creatures. This meant he couldn't survive. Despite knowing this, Natalie still took her friend and began to move forward. Now those spider creatures had already figured out this, so they were only attacking them both. Natalie's friend told her to leave this place at any cost, and now he sacrifices his life by distracting the creatures. Natalie was continuously moving towards the open path above, but those creatures still did not leave Natalie alone. Those creatures were holding Natalie's leg and dragging her down. But now Natalie had thrown a lighter there, because of which the whole fire had spread. Captain Natalie manages to save her life somehow and leaves the outside road. Natalie noticed that all the creatures were not coming out. That is, they stayed inside during the day. After having so many dangerous things, Natalie's state of mind had become completely useless. Now she was walking on top of all those rocks, from where she sees all around the desert. Only the desert is spread and no one is there. Then Natalie picked up a stone to check and threw it inside the sand. Then that dangerous creature of the desert had come there, which meant that even a slight movement inside the sand, they would sense the creature and attack. In a way, Natalie was completely trapped on top of those rocks because now she couldn't even get through the desert. Now Natalie found a very big ship nearby. It was the same ship we saw at the beginning of the story. Natalie goes inside the ship to check if there are any food and drink items there or not. But then suddenly Lynn comes there, who attacked Natalie because Lynn thought that people coming from the other world could be dangerous for them. A fierce fight ensues between Natalie and Lynn, but Lynn had cleverly captured Natalie, and now he takes Natalie to a place where both day and night were safe, meaning that none of those creatures could come there. After capturing Natalie in the cave, Lynn leaves to find a way because he too had been trapped here for a long time, and now after crossing the desert, he had to get out somehow. Then he sees that Natalie is not there, and now Natalie attacks Lynn from behind. Both were engaged in a very fierce fight continuously. As they fought, both of them ended up in a place where there were large nests of creatures. By mistake, Lynn falls into one of those nests where all the spiders and creatures were advancing towards him to eat him. But at the nick of time, Natalie grabs Lynn and pulls him out. Natalie understood that fighting wouldn't get them anything. If they wanted to survive, they had to stick together. Natalie gave Lynn a chocolate to eat, something he had never eaten in his life before. After this, Lynn also gets ready. Together with Natalie, Lynn explained that they would have to cross the desert somehow. On the other side of the desert was a very tall tower that was a kind of teleportation machine. By using that machine, you could go to your world and I could to mine. But it was very difficult to reach there. First, they would have to escape from the creatures of the desert. Then, with the help of many grenades and dynamites inside, they could kill the creature. But Lynn said that those small weapons of yours would not kill that creature. You would need the venom of the creatures of this world to kill them. These were the same spider-like creatures that live inside the ground. Now Natalie gets ready to fight by making bait out of those creatures' venom. She was attracting a creature towards her. As soon as the spider creature came to attack Natalie, then Lynn would jump on him and kill him completely. The two quickly returned to their cave, making sure the creature's venom and all their advanced weapons were ready. Lynn also taught Natalie to use his weapons, and now both were ready to fight that dangerous creature. Lynn explained to Natalie that we have to cross the desert somehow. We will have to go on the other side. There was a big tower in the desert. Lynn now made a weapon from the poison of the creature, and Lynn had taught Natalie how to operate her advanced weapons, and now they both were ready. They started stepping in the desert. In front of the dangerous creature, Lin had killed the weapon made of poison in the creature's eye. The effect of the venom spread all over the body, and the creature died immediately. Now the road of both of them was empty. Natalie Lena now started moving forward from the road of the desert. After many hours, both of them came to a place where there was a lot of greenery. That place seemed like a paradise for both of them. Now Natalie and Lin stopped there for a while, because they had been eating the dust of the desert for so many days. At that place, they were mostly creatures and animals. Now, after so many days, Natalie and Lin ate very good food and drank water. They stopped for a while in that place because they were eating the dust of the desert for so many days. On that spot, there were also types of creatures and animals. Soon after, it was night. But in the next moment, a very big dragon came from the sky and started throwing fire around the jungle. Animals started panicking. All the creatures and animals started running. So now Lin and Natalie's life was also in danger. But then suddenly Lin's remaining warrior friends came to that place. Together, they saved Lin and Natalie's lives from those dangerous animals. Otherwise, by now the animals would have made both of them a cucumber. After everything calmed down, they took both of them on their ship. In fact, these were all the same people we saw at the beginning of the story. Their captain's name is Admiral. Admiral immediately captures Natalie when he finds out that she came from another world. But on Lin's telling that she is Natalink, Admiral lets Natalie out. Admiral was telling everything about these things to Talia. Like, a lot of people in our world used to come from your world. And all these things are due to that big tower. Actually, the technology of the old civilization was very good. They made a lot of discoveries by using alien technology. One of those discoveries is this teleportation machine, which can take any person from one world to another. But Admiral's people did not want any person from this machine to come to another world, or dangerous creatures of this world to go to another world. The whole team had been trying for a long time to close that tower. But this work was not so easy because a very dangerous dragon used to live near that tower. Its size is 10 times bigger than a normal dragon. And besides, the fire he threw from his mouth was 100 times more powerful than normal fire. But now Natalia was assuring everyone that if we work as a team, then this could be possible. Although Admiral and his colleagues had tried it many times, but listening to Natalia's good things, they all convinced once again and tried to go out once again. Now, all of them were moving forward to that tower. Here, after many hours of travel, they pass from different places and come to that place where that tower was present. Talia noticed that there were also stones of the same type as Area 51. That is, due to all these things, that telepathy machine was turned on. But now a very big danger was about to come before all of them. That dangerous dragon now landed on the ground while flying. Its size was indeed very large, which now began to attack Admiral and everyone else continuously. Natalie and the others separated to kill that dragon, but the dragon kept burning everyone with fire from its mouth. No one could escape the dragon's attack. Natalie and her team felt that they were about to lose, but due to the spread of so much fire from that dangerous dragon, a vibration was created there. Because of this, the teleportation machine near the tower activated, and suddenly a teleportation loop opened there. This loop directly went to Natalie's world, that is, Earth. Now the dragon had surrounded Natalie, which was about to kill her. At that moment, to escape the dragon, Natalie jumped into that loop. In the next moment, she had reached her real world. There were military forces there who were also searching for Natalie and the other soldiers. Natalie felt that she had completely escaped because now she had reached her real world. But now soldiers were seen in the sky, a very big shadow. This was no one else but that dangerous dragon who had come to Earth through the loop. All the soldiers were continuously attacking the dragon, but it was of no use. The dragon started spitting fire from its mouth in all directions. Now Natalie decided that whatever happens, she will kill that dragon. Initially, Natalie tried to avoid only that dragon, but now as soon as the dragon tried to spit fire from its mouth, Natalie took a grenade bomb and threw it into its mouth. A very big blast occurred inside the dragon's stomach. The dragon had been severely injured, but it was still not dead. But as soon as the dragon went to attack Natalie, Lynn and Admiral came and started shooting arrows on that dragon. They together killed the injured dragon, and by now the loop had also closed. Lynn and Admiral came to Natalie and were saying that everything was fine now. But we have to be careful for future dangers, because until that tower is not destroyed, the path to that other world will remain open. With the help of that path, even more dangerous creatures could come to your world. After that, we see the black smoke of that danger approaching, which was probably a sign of a very big danger coming. And just like that, our science fiction story ends here.